This is your first real-world op,
Yep.
hostage rescue mission in Panama.
I was actually the first guy to go in. But he looked at me, I looked at him, he stuck his hand out. I mean, it was game time. Nothing needed to be said. Breacher on my team knocked the charge down, and it fell, and I was like, what is that? It was a C6 charge. It was P for plenty. It probably would have killed me. It got quiet. You could hear the prisoners screaming. From when we touched down to when we were ready to exfil with Kurt Muse was 6 minutes.
Wow. This is your first real-world op,
Yep.
hostage rescue mission in Panama. That's fucking crazy, man.
Well, and what's interesting, I'll never forget it. Guy I went through selection with. Went through selection with him, went through OTC, went to A Squadron with him, and now we're on the mission together. We're on the pods, sitting on the bench seat on the pod. And he's right here. And he's going to be on the roof with a Mag 58. I actually go into prison. I'm one of the guys that go in. I was actually the first guy to go in through the prison door. And I'll get to that in a minute. But he looked at me, I looked at him. He stuck his hand out. I shook his hand. No words were said. Nothing needed to be said. Never forgot it. I mean, it was game time. Nothing needed to be said. I'll never forget it. And then we took off. We'd gotten word that in the major intersection, right going down to the commandancia and in the prisons over here, there was a machine gun set up. There was PDF. They had to be dealt with, or they were going to fire at the birds coming by. Well, we had a sniper team that came down. They came down off a hill overlooking the intersection. Guy had a bolt gun. Guy had a Mag 58. Guy had a three dudes. Guy had an M203. And the theory was they're in position. They're in Overwatch. And as soon as they see one of the PDF do this, they're going to light them up. And what I understood happened was the first two birds go over. I was in bird number 2. The first two birds go over. There was nobody in the intersection because I remember looking. I was on the right side. I remember looking for anybody. There was nobody there. We went over. They heard the birds. Then they come out. And then they're going to shoot at the second set of birds, bird 3 and 4. And they got lit up by the guys in the Overwatch position. Interestingly enough, never forget this, Christmas lights around the top of the prison. It's December 20th, 1989, right before Christmas. There's Christmas lights. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
And we were offset from the prison, and then the pilots did this number and then got in line, and the line landed right on top of the prison. And it peeled off. I got in position by the cupola. I had security position looking through the window down the stairs, the cupola on top. And then the second two set of birds came in. They dispersed. Breacher on my team went up to put a charge up. And in the process of pulling the time fuse, he knocked the charge down. And it fell right in front of me, about from me to you. And I was like, what is that? I didn't even, you know what I mean? It didn't even dawn on me it was the charge. Fortunately, when he went to pull it, he didn't ignite it. He did not ignite the time fuse. That probably would have killed me. If memory serves me correct, it was a C6 charge, which was P for plenty, brother. I mean, we were not going to take any chance of getting in that door. It was P for plenty. It probably would have killed me. Because I ended up going from being the guy looking through the window, now I'm going to be the number one guy, going through the door. And I was down on a knee, and I was like, what is that? I couldn't believe it. And I remember my team sergeant came up and goes, hey, man, get the backup charge ready, because I had a backup charge. And I go, why am I going to get the backup charge ready? Because the breacher's right there. Well, then the breacher went back around, and he said, hey, come. He basically had me come up for cover. I covered him on the door. He put the charge back up. We initiated it, and dude, it was a boom. I'll never forget it. It was a boom. When I was looking in the cupola window, the lights were on. I thought the charge knocked out the lights, and it was because it was pitch black. What had actually had happened, the snipers, the support guys had hit the generator and killed the lights. I didn't know that till later. They killed the lights in the prison, so it was pitch black. I come around, door's long gone on the cupola. I step in, there's no landing, Shawn. Here's the door. The steps go right up to the door. There's no landing like this, where you step in and then go down the steps. It goes right up the door, like, out here, you guys got. There's none. So I almost, by the grace of God, I don't know how I didn't trip, because it's pitch black. I'm walking into it, and by the grace of God, somehow I didn't trip. Went down. The guys are following me, and people are like, why are you number one, man? I was the most expendable guy. It's that simple. No. I was the new guy on F team. F team and G team were going in. F team secured the route inside the prison, the stairwell, the hallway, that kind of stuff. G team was the ones that are going to extract him. They're going to be the team that gets him out.
So you basically set up a corridor.
Yeah, we did. Went down. Basically me, I can't remember who it was. Me and another guy held that first stairwell. G team fled, went past us. Then I go down to the next stairwell. There was actually a room that we were going to clear. Well, we didn't clear it because it was padlocked. We're like, okay, not really a threat. Chances are nobody's in there because it's padlocked from the outside. So we didn't clear it. And I was standing there on the stairs. And then about then, the C-130 starts lighting up the commandancia.
Shit.
Yeah. Yep. Spectre starts lighting up the commandancia. And it was loud. And I could see right out the window. I mean, right there. I'd look right there, and I could see the commandancia getting lit up by the Spectre. And because they had given us X amount of time, I'm not sure how much time it was, but not long. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe not. Who knows? I don't even remember. It was not long at all to get in, get situated, and then they were going to start lighting up commandancia. So they started lighting it up. We're holding the stairwell. Somebody, a PDF guy, a guard, or whatever, poked his head around. Gary Harrell was there. He was the troop commander. He shot at him. I think he missed him. Pretty calm. He claimed later he thought he hit him, but I'm pretty sure he missed him. Because the guy took off. And then they came out with Muse. They put a C4 charge on his door and blew the door wide open. There was a guard that had told Kurt if there was a rescue attempt, he was going to kill him. Because Kurt, I think, asked him, hey, if there's a rescue attempt for me, what are you going to do? And he goes, I'll kill you. This guy was in the room right across from Kurt. So the priority was to get down to Kurt as soon as possible to beat this guy, before this guy gets his situational awareness, figures out what's going on, goes over to Kurt's cell and kills him.
You guys knew that before you went
Yep, we knew it.
Was he in the cell across?
Yeah, he was. He was in the room across. And G team went in and killed him. Yep. He was armed with a pistol. I think he was in a shower, if memory serves me correct. G team found him in the shower. I think the guy went for his pistol, or already had a pistol in his hand, and they killed him. Yep. And they got Muse out. They brought in a little, aviator kit bag, and had body armor and a helmet. A body armor and a Kevlar helmet. Peeled him out. I remember seeing him go up the stairs. Couple things. We get up. We tell him, hey, PC secure, to get the extraction birds out. The reason the book's called 6 Minutes to Freedom, because from when we touched down to when we called, PC secure, called for exfil was 6 minutes. Just not that we were, it's just the way it worked out. Not like we had a set time standard or anything like that. It just happened. It was 6 minutes from when we sat down on top of the prison to when we were ready to exfil with Kurt Muse was 6 minutes.
Wow.
We were at the very top. You know what I mean? Stairwell. I remember I was here, Kurt Muse is here, and that door's here. Dude, I'll never forget this as long as I live. It got quiet for a minute. I don't know how long. Like the C-130 maybe was, taking a loop around, didn't have a, clear field of fire, whatever. Got quiet, and you could hear the prisoners screaming. And when you hear somebody screaming who, honest to God, thinks they're going to die, it's a sound you'll never forget. And I'll never forget it. It's nothing like you see in a movie or any of that other bullshit. These people were convinced they were going to die, and they're trapped in these prison cells. And I'll never forget that sound.
Damn.
Yep. So we go up, birds land. I was on bird 2. They get Muse on bird 1. They put him inside the bird. He's not on the pods. They put him inside the bird, and then they G-team, who rescued him, and then they're exfilling with him. I remember I got on the pod. I was like high-fiving. I didn't even bother to hook up. But the commo guy hooked me up, thank God. But I'm high-fiving. I go, we got him, yada, yada, yada. Well, the bird lifts up, and bird 1 kind of does this number over the prison wall and goes into the blackness. I mean, it's pitch dark. You can't see him. There was a cemetery right beside us. We lift up, we go over, and I see muzzle flash. Dude shooting at us. And I didn't get a beat on him, but I put some rounds down at him to get him, and then the muzzle flash stopped. And I'm pretty confident I did not hit the guy, but I at least got him to duck, so he's no longer shooting at our bird.
Yeah.
We lose track of bird 1. We go back to Howard Air Force Base. We land. I'm like, awesome. Bird 1 went down. Bird 1 with Kurt Muse went down. What happened was they were serious. They had 2 pilots. They had 6 dudes with Kurt Muse. They were seriously overloaded. And the pilot tried to gain speed and kick back up, but there was power lines. So he was worried about hitting the power lines. So he sets down on a road, a street, right on the other side of the cemetery. Well, 4 guys from G-Team jump off and get out. And they're pulling security. The pilot waves them back, come on, because he's going to go down. He's essentially going down the street to gain, airspeed, and then he's going to lift off. Well, they get back on. 3 of the 4 guys don't hook back up. So that becomes critical here in a minute. Anyway, they go down. He takes a left on this street, and he starts to lift up, and the bird gets hit. Crashes. 1 guy, 3 of the guys all fell off. 1 guy was still, the team leader he was hooked in, so he was good to go. And Muse, who's in the back, is good to go. And there was a guy from my team, my 2IC, assistant team leader, was basically with him, escorting him. He was fine too. Bird goes down, breaks the right strut off. The right strut had landed on one of the guys who fell off. It landed on his foot. He lost his big toe. I want to say on his right foot. He lost his big toe. And he stayed in the unit, but you can imagine when you lose a big toe, dude, you're never the same. 2 of the other guys on the other side got shot. 1 guy got shot in the leg, 1 guy got shot at the very bottom of the body armor. They got hit. Bird goes down, tilts to the side. The pilots are doing their best to stop the rotors. There's a rotor still going. They both get out of there. They go, and they kind of hunker around the station wagon. If memory serves me correct, there was a station wagon they hunker around. Team leader hunkers them around, gets the wounded guys over there. Muse is there. My assistant team leader who's, got clipped upside the head, whose bell is rung. They kind of hole up around this vehicle. Some Panamanians are coming out. Muse tells him in Spanish, he speaks magnificent Spanish, to get the fuck out of there.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.